Hi everyone and welcome back to a new YouTube video. Now as you can see, we are in our new home gym. So I'm super proud and super happy, to be honest, that with moving and with a bigger house, we have now the space to build our own home gym. But I do have to mention that without the support of Kingsbox, because all our equipment is from Kingsbox and not everything is delivered yet, but without their support, I wouldn't be here with my home gym. So thank you so much. I'm super happy and I'm going to record my first YouTube video in our new home gym. For today's video, I am going to show you 15 quads focused exercises with a barbell only. So especially now with the lockdown, because it seems that it's never going to end, at least in Belgium, we have to be a little bit creative with our workouts. And so I thought maybe I could do and show you guys 15 exercises, 15 variations to pump up your quads, because actually you don't need a lot of equipment, you don't need a lot of machines to have a really good and solid workout. So stay tuned, and meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, give this video a thumbs up, because I'm sure you're gonna like it. So yeah, let's get into this video and let's start with the quad pumpers. Alright, so we are gonna start with the first exercise, and the first exercise is gonna be a regular back squats. I think this is an exercise everyone knows, but not everyone can execute it properly. So pay attention to my form, and I will also give you some tips in the audio on what you should pay attention to.
When I squat, I always go for the high bar squat, meaning the bar is laying on my traps and thus allows me to keep my torso upright. You will also notice my feet position is quite narrow, let's say shoulder width stance or even slightly closer. One of the biggest mistakes I always see is heels coming off the floor and a rounded back. So please guys, pay attention to both, as these mistakes can put a lot of pressure to your lower back.
Moving on to exercise number 2, which is sissy squat. Now, the main difference with the first one is my feet position. So pay attention to this.
Now the big difference with a regular squat is my feet position here. As you can see, I go for a very narrow stance, and if possible, put your feet even together. Compared to a regular back squat, this one requires even better ankle mobility to execute it properly. One very important rule when lifting the weight back up is to keep your knees together. They really may not rotate outwards, like nah.
Exercise is gonna be cannonball squats. As the name can tell, you're gonna stay in like a cannonball. I don't know. So I'm gonna show you how it is used.
Now I will be honest, this is more of an advanced exercise. If you have poor ankle mobility or recently have had a knee injury, I would definitely advise you to skip on this one. However, if you have none of these, then for sure really give this exercise a go, because it's such a good one. Stand in a very narrow position, feet almost touching each other, and lower the weight, but instead of raising the weight all the way back up, you stay in a little ball kind of position, if that makes sense.
Well, this is my little fluffy. You can literally keep it like a baby. My heart. Moving on to the fourth exercise, we are going to do a V squat.
Alright, the main difference with a regular back squat is our feet position here. As you stand in a V position, more focus will be driven to the outer part of your quadriceps, aka the quad sweep.
My quads are already pumped. We are on the fourth exercise. 11 to go. For the fifth exercise, I'm going to do post squats.
Go stand in a squat position slightly wider or more narrow than shoulder width stance, and then you will actually do a normal squat, but instead of raising the weight back up straight away, you will pause at the bottom of the movement. This will increase time under tension, which will make the exercise much harder, and furthermore will also help you build explosive strength.
Actually, with this exercise, you can choose how long you pose at the bottom of your rep. I usually go for 5 seconds because it's pretty intense already, especially if you are lifting with heavier weights. So we are moving on to the sixth exercise, and I will throw in some lunges just to keep it a little bit variated. We are going to start with alternating front lunges.
Okay, balance is super important during this exercise. Therefore, don't rush and please take your time for each rep. Go stand in a straight up position, engage your core, and place one foot in front of you until your leg reaches a 90-degree angle. Then press through the heel to drive back up to starting position.
Seventh exercise is going to be a static lunge, but with a very small stance, because the smaller your feet stance, the more focus you will have on your quadriceps instead of your glutes and hamstrings.
Place one foot in front of you, but make sure to put it not too much forward. Instead, try to keep the distance between both legs to a minimal, but in a stable position, of course. This way, you will drive more focus to the quadriceps instead of your glutes and hamstrings.
Moving on to exercise number 8, I'm going to do a heels elevate hack squat, and therefore I am using this little plate. You can also use just a regular weight plate.
This is a great alternative for the hack squat machine if you don't have this in your local gym. You simply put a plate underneath your heels, and this will drive more focus to the quads and also allow a bigger range of motion. The plate underneath the heels comes in very handy, especially if you're suffering with poor ankle mobility.
Ninth exercise out of 15 in total, and I'm going to do just a regular back squat, but I'm going to work with partial reps. So we are going to do one full rep combined with 1/4 of the rep.
Okay, this method is frequently used in my programs as it's a real burner. Here we work again with partials. Start with a normal squat position and lower the weight. Once you have reached the bottom, press the weight up 1/4 of the way. Then you will lower the weight once again. Then come back up in a straight position, and all of this counts for 1 repetition.
These were intense, but you won't see it on my face. Ollie! Ollie! Ewie! What is that? Yummy! Yummy! Shoopy, shoopy, shoop. Shoopy, shoopy, shoop. Shoopy, shoopy, shoop. Shoopy, shoop. Oh, cutie. And now the big bear is coming because he's smelling his food. Buddy. Ah. Our 10th exercise is going to be a pulse rep squat. So actually you're going to keep a higher tempo and constant tension on the quadriceps. So
for this exercise, you simply go stand in a regular squat position, but then instead of completing a full range of motion squat, we will keep constant tension and a high tempo using partial reps.
alright, moving on to exercise 11, I am about to do a pin box squat. So for this exercise, you will need angel arms or just, I don't know, there's actually another name for this, but like these. So you can rest at the bottom. So that's it actually.
I'm sure you're probably thinking, this looks so easy, and it may look easy, but in fact it's even harder than a pulse squat. Set both safety pins at a height that when you reach parallel in your squat, you can touch the pins. Then go stand in a straight up position and perform a regular back squat. Lower until you touch the pins, pause briefly, and then drive the weight back up.
I just remember myself, you can actually use a box if you have this, and if it's like a average height, like not too low, okay? Exercise 12, and I'm going to do a split squat. For a split squat, you will need a plate to put underneath your front feet. Foot.
Place a plate in front of you and go stand in a straight up position. Then take a long step forward, place your foot on the plate, and then shift the weight down into the heel of the front leg. While doing this, allow the other heel to come off the ground.
Alright, I think we are now at exercise 13 and I'm about to do a Bulgarian split squat. Now this is 25, 50, 65 kilos. I used to do this with 80 kilos, like fluently. Now, we'll see how it goes. I hope I don't fall.
Now, this movement is actually very similar to the static lunge, but the main difference here is the range of motion. As you place one foot on a box or bench, you are allowed to have a bigger negative movement, which will create a better stretch in the quadriceps. But don't forget, it will also be twice as hard to perform.
I'm also breath. Exercise number 14 is going to be walking lunges. Alright, you can do this, Sof. You can do this.
The key rule here is to keep your balance and make sure your knees are not bending outwards. In case you don't know, your knees should always be in line with your toes. Place one foot in front of you so when you go into the eccentric part of the movement, you hit a 90-degree angle. Then push through the same heel and bring the other leg next to the front one. Make sure to keep your torso upright and your core embraced during the entire exercise.
Now, if you have made it until this exercise, the last exercise, then I thank you very much for watching this entire video. Last exercise is going to be a front squat. So yeah, let's do this.
Now, this exercise is very similar to a regular back squat. However, instead, the barbell is placed on the front of your shoulders, which requires a more upright position because the center of mass is shifted forward. You will also notice that a front squat is much heavier and intense to perform than a regular back squat. Therefore, you won't be able to lift the same weights as you would do with a back squat.
I don't do these often and now I know why. But it's a good exercise though.
Got so tired of waiting, got tired of the chase. I've been feeling like lately, there's nothing in the way. Getting so impatient, need to get away.
So rule number 1, after a workout or after intense exercising, always consume a high protein meal. Could be some fish, some chicken, some other meats that's high in protein, or just a regular easy protein shake. I usually just go for a protein shake because it's super easy to take, and usually after my training I'm not that hungry to eat like a really big meal. By the way, all of my supplements I take are from EHP Labs. As you can see, I will put the direct link and my discount code in the description box down below. Other than this, guys, I truly hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope it was helpful maybe during the lockdown to give you a little bit more inspiration and to have a good quads workout. Now, as always, guys, if you have any topics or anything specific you want me to film, then please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always open to hear your recommendations and to give me some inspiration to make videos. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and see you next time. Bye!